welcome to another lesson. Today, we will be looking at something which is incredibly important for you to identify and be aware of, your unique virtues and values. Let's look at the learning objectives for today's lesson. We will be discussing the difference between virtues and values and how to identify your core ones. Why it's important to establish your own virtues and values in your life, and finally about logotherapy and how you can employ this in your life in 3 powerful ways today. Firstly, so let's start. What is the difference between virtues and values? Before you understand yourself and what you stand for, you need to understand these 2 core concepts and how they are different from each other. A virtue is formed by society by commonly acceptable standards of moral behavior. It doesn't generally change, transcends passage of time, and marks qualities which are supposed to identify a person as good based on their behavior in reality. A value is, however, your personal aspirational principles and standards based on opinion and can thus change with time. Values may or may not have moral goodness in them and is highly subjective to each person as it marks what is important to you only. Here are 8 key differences between values and virtues to help you set them apart. Number 1, virtues are often universal, while values can be more culture specific. 2, virtues are more stable over time, while values may change as our circumstances and life experience change. 3, virtues are more about character, while values are more about our personal beliefs and worldview. 4, virtues are something we strive to develop and become, while values are something we strive to hold and try to live by. 5, virtues help us to be our best possible version of ourselves, while values provide a framework for how we live our daily lives. Virtues are often about being kind, just, humble, honest, and fair, while values may be about family, lifestyle, religion, or patriotism. Virtues help us to be good and moral people, while values help us to make good decisions based on our own priorities. Values are personal aspirational ideals or principles which we many times may fall short of. For example, you may value truth, but find that in reality, you may be quite okay to lie depending on the circumstances. Again, you may find that these circumstances you set as excusable may range from very mild to serious situations, in essence, giving you free flow to breach it consistently. On the other hand, the virtue of truth is the reality of what a consistent behavior shows in a person. You will all know that person known in the community for his honesty in every situation. They have the virtue of truth because they are consistent in showing a high importance to a certain value over time and towards others. Examples of values can be timeliness, cleanliness, importance for religious rituals, resilience, being frugal, being a dependable person, assertive person, calmness, family-oriented, patriotic, etc. Examples of virtues are respect, justice, truthful, wisdom, joyful, merciful, hope, courage, faith, openness, modesty, compassion, humility, etc. Now let's look at the ethics, morality, principles, and personal beliefs. These are all linked to your understanding and acceptance of what virtues you consider as important and which values are worthy of consistent respect for you. Cardinal Virtues. The Stoics adopted Socrates' 4 cardinal virtues as practical wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Practical wisdom allows us to make decisions that improve a good life of commendable values. Courage is more about how we choose to act under stressful and overpowering circumstances. Temperance or self-control is essential to stop us from yielding to excessive or addictive behaviors. Justice is simply about treating others with dignity and fairness. The Stoics believed that each of these 4 different virtues cannot be practiced independently. For example, one cannot be both uncontrolled to self and yet be just by nature, because virtue is an all or none package. What you believe about this is very important. Stoics also believed that virtue is the highest good and that everything else is indifferent, in that nothing can be traded against virtue. Christianity gave 3 theological virtues of faith, hope, and love from 1 Corinthians. According to Buddhism, the 4 key virtues are loving kindness, compassion, empathy, and composure. Japanese Bushido Code, followed by the samurai, names 7 codes of virtues: kindness, courage, respect, sincerity, righteousness, honor, self-control, and loyalty. Secondly, so why is it so important to establish your own virtues and values in life? Identifying your virtues and values can help you in 4 major ways. Number 1, identifying your virtues and values can help you become more self-aware. By breaking down our virtues and values, we can become more aware of who we are and what makes us act the way we do, and what are the internal drivers for our behavior and thoughts. 2, it can help us understand what motivates us and what we care about. By even simply listing out our virtues and values, we can better understand what actually inspires us and what we truly care about. This can help us set better goals and make better life decisions as we go through midlife. Number 3, it can help us set aspirational personal legacy goals. Registering our virtues and values in our mind while doing this exercise, we can get a better and much more clearer image of who is the person we wish to become and be known as, and even remembered for long after we are gone. Number 4, it can help identify what adds meaning to your life. By understanding our virtues and values, we can better lead more fulfilling and meaningful lives, as you're now able to identify the core components and bricks which makes your ideal building. This is a very important step to get absolutely right before basing your purpose and visions upon them. Number 3, let's talk about logotherapy and how you can employ this into your life in 3 powerful ways today. Viktor Frankl considers man as a being whose main concern consists in fulfilling a meaning and in actualizing values, rather than in the mere gratification and satisfaction of drives and instincts. In essence, he says that actualizing values, or in other words, understanding your own values and virtues and realizing them in reality, is core to you crafting your life purpose. But who is Viktor Frankl and what is logotherapy? A psychiatrist named Viktor Frankl developed logotherapy after surviving Nazi concentration camps through the Holocaust in the 1940s. He later captured his life experiences and theories in a book, Man's Search for Meaning. Logotherapy is a therapeutic approach that helps people find personal meaning in life. It is based on the premise that the most powerful driving force of an individual is to find meaning and purpose in life. Viktor Frankl conducted a study in his Vienna clinic with both patients and staff members and found around 80% believed that human beings needed a reason for living. Logotherapy pushes people to intentionally discover their life's purpose in order to confront their psychological difficulties. Logotherapy can be simply summarized like this. Once people find their life purpose, their mission to fulfill their identified purpose then motivates them to keep pressing forward, breaking the mental chains of their past and providing resilience to whatever challenges they may come across in their future life path. Frankl also talked about the difference between us experiencing a sense of frustration about our life and having a crisis. For example, existential frustration can be felt when a life is without purpose or when purpose is unachievable. In Frankl's view, however, we should not be seeing this frustration as a psychological problem or a symptom of neurosis. Or instead, rather it should be viewed as a positive thing because this can prove to be your driving force for a positive change in your life choices. Existential crisis, on the other hand, can be commonly observed in our current societies where generally people do what they are instructed to do by authorities and their employers rather than what they actually want to do. Then, in an effort to compensate for succumbing to this, they often try to fill the gap between what is expected of them and what they want for themselves with pursuit of wealth, of physical pleasure, or just by numbing their senses. This only covers up their unmet needs and can lead to prolonged depression, sometimes eventually even ending in suicide. According to logotherapy, discovering one's purpose in life helps an individual fill that existential void. Applying logotherapy in your life, you could do that in 3 powerful ways. Logotherapy uses 3 techniques in the process of identifying a life purpose mainly. They include de-reflection techniques, paradoxical intention, and Socratic dialogue, which you can employ in a small but powerful manner today. Let's look at de-reflection technique. This approach is based on you learning how to focus away from yourself and towards other people, thus spending less time feeling preoccupied with a problem or worry. This can greatly reduce your own feelings of anxiety or uncertainty about your own future. For example, today, can you think of one thing which causes you stress or anxiety? Let's say it's loneliness, which cripples you every weekend. Here, your commitment and action could be to invest your time into becoming a volunteer with a youth club for disadvantaged children, or give your time to a soup kitchen for the homeless. It works effectively as your thoughts, which were previously internally focused, are now directed outwards in a much more healthier manner. In the paradoxical intention technique, this technique is about willfully wishing for the thing that you fear the most. This could be useful in dismantling crippling fears you may have grappled with through your life. For example, identify one issue which holds you back today. If it's fear of public speaking, instead of avoiding it or gradually working yourself to talk within a small group, here you may place a commitment and effort to launch a YouTube channel where you publish a podcast every week consistently to the public. This technique is similar to flooding approach, which is a part of cognitive behavioral therapy. In the Socratic dialogue technique, you go through the process of self-discovery by noticing and interpreting your own words. This program being self-directed, I encourage you to reflect on what you write on your worksheets every single day and ask yourself why for every note of action and commitment that you make. William Damon, in his book The Path to Purpose, states that life purpose is a deeper reason for the immediate goals and motives that drive most daily behavior. This is different from desires. Short-term desires may come and go. We may desire a nice car, a promotion at work, a house extension, a new kitchen, etc. These are merely desires. They represent only our current aims that may or may not have longer-term value. Damon explains that life purpose, by complete contrast, is an end in itself. We can alter our purposes or add new ones as the years go by and our situation changes, but it is in the nature of purposes to endure at least long enough that a serious commitment is made and some progress toward that aim is achieved. A purpose has potential to organize your entire life, imparting not only meaning but also inspiring you towards a vision for the future. Now your task for today is simply to identify your top 5 cardinal virtues and top 5 values which you wish to live your life by as your foundational blocks. You can look up examples given in this lesson to give you a starting point and be a guide. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care.